My name is Timothy White Eagle, and I'm a ritualist.
In the light room, we become light and delightsome.
For me, a ritualist is somebody who creates medicine. I'm creating medicine and putting it out in the world. Whether that's an experience, an object, or an environment you walk into, or a beautiful portrait, I think all of those things can contain healing and the highest principles of art. My mother was White Mountain Apache, and I was given up to a white Mormon family 3 days after I was born. My parents divorced, and when I was 8 years old, I moved to Montesano, Washington with my father. And so I had this unique outsider feeling, not being white, not being the dominant religion in the school, kind of being on the outside of the circle, so to speak. As an artist, I struggled for many years to find where I fit. I'm not a crafter. I don't have line control. I can't paint. But I have this energy that wants to come through me to create. The way I found my strength in art was by leaving it for a decade. I left and worked with Native American elders and ceremony for a decade, and most of my focus was on learning who I am. And after a decade of intense focus on personal growth, I came back and started to find a connection and abilities to communicate. And I'm combining all the tools I know. Installation art, performance art, ritual, prayer. I use all those things, combine them together to create a space and ultimately an experience for the viewer. In 2007, I met photographer Adrian Chesser at a Native American ceremony. We bonded quickly over our mutual interest in art and ritual. And we began work on a project called The Return, which is a book about nomads living off the land in the style of early indigenous people. Our newest project is called 3 Sacred Rooms, and we're working out the details in my home studio, and ultimately we'll be presenting in a public venue. Each has a different intention. So the idea is to look into the sand for a message right in front of you. The Red Room, also called the Pit, is a space created to confront fear. Fear of the future, the environment, our collective fear of the change that's coming. We are making prayer ties, and they are little bundles of tobacco, and they represent our fears, which we will be leaving in the pit.
Society, surviving, money.
We're also creating a video where people are invited to look into the camera and talk about what they're afraid of.
One of the fears that I've worked through, or partially have worked through, is the fear of being ridiculed when I was young. And I think I turned to comedy and costumes and theater so I could beat them to the punch, that I could be ridiculous. And that way I'm in control of the ridicule.
The next room is called The Swallowing Monster. The Swallowing Monster is about waking up to the fact that we are all inside this giant ship of capitalism and military-industrial complex. It's a space where you will literally walk into the belly of the beast. Finally, there's the White Room. The intention here is to relieve childhood trauma and reconnect to a sense of play. There are rituals, concerts, drum circles, and personal healing sessions. Inside the White Room, my personal piece of work that I wanted to create was a ritual to relieve myself of the feeling of abandonment I had from having been given up for adoption.
I reach out and I touch bless you.
In the room with me is someone in the role of nurse and someone in the role of universal mother. And these women were there to support and comfort me in a way my birth mother was not able to. And so that's what you see in the video, is me in an absolutely vulnerable place, me as child, me as abandoned child. I believe that art can heal. I have seen in history that art can start revolutions. I believe that art can change a human heart. I am struggling for that balance of having it all, of creating work that is tangible and transformative, and at the same time beautiful and exquisite.